Welcome, this is week 1 of term 2 for how to design levels for games. Week 1 we have sprites and animations, well mainly just sprites this time. Sprites, otherwise known as the characters used within 2D games, and are mainly all the characters that you find within the 2D games. Pokemon, basically every single Game Boy game and DS game that existed. Anything before a PS2 where they started implementing forms of 3D games. In this video you'll see me attempt an understanding of how 2D characters work in Unity. So I've already completed all of it. Here I'm just going to explain the issues that I ran into whilst developing this. So first issue was during the animation sequence, getting the animators to function became an issue, as each of these states, well, each of these transitions, they wouldn't work with each other. Well, they wouldn't work together properly. So it'd go from Mega Man, ignore the spelling mistake, Mega Man firing, to say I wanted Mega Man jumping or Mega Man running. It wouldn't do it based on my button inputs. It would just continue on with the same animation no matter what input I pressed. So in order to correct that, it took a lot of trial and error, removing transitions, re-adding them, changing the conditions, removing exit time, and then consistently playing around with it in order to get it to work. Followed on to the next issue of, as I don't know how to get the camera to follow the character on a 2D stage, I had to basically take the camera view further out instead of closer in the character. So as you're playing, you'll see that you can see basically the whole map and everything. And right now would be a good example to show the controls. So using the A and D keys, I can move forward and back. W and S don't apply here as it's a 2D game. Spacebar is used to jump, so you can see the space animation consistently playing there. And then I set the default animation position to where he's firing, but say I was jumping consistently, then mid-air just F, back to the state position, which is what the F key is for. And if I had a firing animation, F would trigger this. Now another issue that I basically ran into was getting controls to work. It's not as simple as I thought it was going to be, as Unity doesn't understand what, say, shift, caps lock, tab represents, so technically I can't use those controls. So expanding on this would be a bit more complicated, but overall that is pretty much just 2D animations in a nutshell and what I was able to complete. And then if I just zoom in here we have the Mega Man animation. I had to set the box collider to something a lot smaller, so that when the character interacts with the ground, instead of the ground stopping him where my mouse cursor is now, it would stop here, so that the characters on the floor actually work together. But overall, that's sprites and animations for week 1, and I'll see you in week 2.